What's up, guys? Welcome to Blue Presents Podcast, a podcast where I discuss all things music and how it affects my life. And today on my show, I am doing an album review. I am reviewing the new Architects album, For Those That Wish to Exist, man. It's going to be an interesting conversation, man, about this album. I have lots of thoughts. I have lots of things that I want to say about this record. Some good, some bad, but I think this is just going to be... I've been wanting to do a review, and I didn't know which album I wanted to start with, but this seems very apropos, and I'm kind of excited to talk about it. But before we get started with today's show, man, I just want to send a special shout out to my man Brandon Cooper. This week you will notice there is a brand new intro that he re-recorded, man, and it sounds amazing. And on top of that too, there is a new sound to the podcast, also thanks to Brandon Cooper. So big shouts out to the big homie from Werb Shepherd, man, and I appreciate you, brother. I'm sure you're going to be like, why do you got to talk about me on the podcast? But I love you, man. Fuck you. You're awesome. And then also as well, man. So I'm taking a little bit of a hiatus, even with all this new stuff that I'm working with, just to focus on doing some music, focus on doing some game streaming, man. So I really, really appreciate everyone, being understanding, being super cool. And I just want to say thank you literally to everybody who supports this show, man. Without a lot of you guys showing support and love, man, I don't think I would be able to do this show without it, man, for real. Like, some of you guys are super nice and let me know what you guys think, and I greatly, greatly appreciate it. But other than that, man, if you have a show idea or you'd like to be a guest on my show, hit me up on Facebook and Instagram, Blue Presents a Podcast, on Twitter at Podcast of Blue Men. Like I said, we're working on a lot of different things, and some things are hopefully coming down the pipeline, and I hope to be able to share everything with you. But before we get started, man, listen to why you should already be listening to Season 2, Episode 1 of the Roads We Travel podcast with AJ Pelletier.
Hey, everyone. AJ Pelletier here, and I'm here to talk to you about my podcast, The Roads We Travel. It's a podcast where every week I talk to guests and friends from music, art, comedy, and more about their journeys through life, their struggles, their joys, and everything in between. You also get to know a little bit more about me and my journey as well. So if you like podcasts about good conversations about life, or maybe you're just looking to relate to somebody about some things you may be going through as well, then The Roads We've Traveled is the podcast for you. Subscribe to us today on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts, or wherever you guys get your podcasts from. Check us out and subscribe to us on YouTube. And check us out at Facebook.com/Roads We've Traveled Podcast. All right, everyone. Thanks.
Okay, guys, let's get into the meat and potatoes of today's show, man. And I'm reviewing Architects, For Those That Wish to Exist, man. And man, this record has so many complex things, man. And I really, right off the bat, I'm going to admit I enjoyed this. There were some things I liked, some things I didn't like, but we're going to get started, man. The first track, Do You Dream of Armageddon, man. It is short, very atmospheric, man. And I think it's a great way to start this record, man. It just kind of prepares you for what's coming, and I really think it's a solid, short but sweet kind of track. The next song is Black Lungs, and man, this song really, really picks up. And right off the bat, man, you are treated to kind of some of the messaging that is in this record. And a lot of it seems to be about being environmentally conscious. It could be a metaphor for just, being good human beings to each other, man, which is something in this world right now we could really fucking use, man. So just right off the bat, man, this song kind of just prepares you for what's to come. And a line that sticks out to me is it's enough to Plague a Saint, and basically saying that, there's so much divisiveness that it pretty much, even a person who's trying to be good, it could really ruin who they are. And I think that's a super cool line. It's super great, man. And what they're showing you right off the bat, man, is some great songwriting and some great metaphors as well too. The next song is Give Blood, man. And this kind of starts just like Black Lungs. I think while it kind of picks up it continues from the second song to the third song. But it, once again, man, you get the lyrics that, this sense of weariness and hopelessness, to hopelessness in the fact that this isn't going to change. This is going to be ever ongoing. And we're just here, either dealing with it or suffering through it. So these lyrics are just, once again, the Architects have a really, really good lyrical content, man, and I think they do some really, really amazing things. Also, the other thing is man, this has this really nice slowdown that kind of just gives you the gravity of how important this is, man. And not only do they say it in the lyrics, but they do it in the song musically, and just kind of gives you, once again, like I said, this sense of dread, this sense of nothing is going to change because we're not willing to accept what it is that needs to be changed. You know what I'm saying? So it, like I said, these first, from the first song to the third song, man, we're getting into like a train of thought, if you will. And I feel like it's all rolling together, man. And I think it fits well together. The next song is called Discourse is Dead. And man, this chorus is absolutely fucking amazing. Super catchy, man. The other thing too is this song kind of like lyrically, to me, when reading it, it kind of calls into question unity and the lack thereof it, man. Some amazing, just once again, I'm very, the one thing I love about this record is, lyrically, it is well written. It is so just amazing to me how they're able to, consciously put together a song and kind of get their thoughts out. And Sam Carter he's just a great vocalist, man. His singing and screaming, just really, really good. And this is a really, really good song. Also, there's like some elements of some symphonicness that kind of started from the first track. You get a little bit here, but you get a lot more in this song. Discourse is Dead, man. So it's a solid song. I really enjoyed this track. Now, the next song, the fifth track on this album, is one of the singles that they released, Dead Butterflies. And for me, this song sounds like a very grand scale pop song. And it's not to knock anything, and it's not to knock the fact that they have this kind of sound. It's becoming a custom. You see bands like Bring Me the Horizon that are really kind of bringing that, they're kind of bringing that element of pop music with those dark lyrics. And I feel like this is one of those songs. Now, I will be honest with you, this is my least favorite song on this album. And it's not because of how it sounds. It has absolutely nothing to do with what it sounds like. To me, I feel like it's kind of out of place when it comes to the record in its entirety. And you're going to hear me say that about a couple more songs. But I have this feeling that there is an album and an EP in here. Okay. There's a few songs that I probably, in my opinion, belong, on a separate release, when it pertains to the record and how the record flows. It's not to say that they're bad songs. They're not bad songs. I just don't think they fit here. And Dead Butterflies is one of those songs that for me, it just seems out of place in the arrangement of the entire album. The next song is in Ordinary Extinction. Sorry, I apologize if I'm tripping over this, man. I'm reading and speaking also at the same time, so I apologize. I'm kind of like walking and talking at the same time. But this song has like a really good electro pop feel, kind of, along with, you know, some blistering riffs and stuff like that. I think it fits really well with the context of the first 4 songs that we've heard here. It kind of jumps back into it. Now, now that I'm hearing myself say this, man, maybe, you know, Dead Butterflies, one of the songs that I feel like probably should be on an independent release or an extended play record here. Maybe it's a way to break up that so that you're not just getting, you know, banger, 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 banger. It could be that way, but in my opinion, I don't know. I just don't feel like it fits in the entirety. Sorry, I'm going back to that. But the song In Ordinary Extinction has a very poppy sound, but it still has some really heavy parts that I really, really enjoyed. Some riffs that were like super slamming. And then also kind of getting into the lyrics, it feels like there's a message of we are at that moment of do or die. Like you have to do something or we will die. And it's a super, super fucking powerful message. Once again, just complimenting the songwriting on Architect's part, man. And they do a very, very good job at that. Now, I'm going to butcher this title, so everyone shoot me in the foot when you see me. Imperience, or if I'm saying that correctly, Imperience. It features Winston McCall of the band Parkway Drive, man. And this is my favorite song on the record, probably the more heavier song on the record. There's another song on here that's kind of got a heavier sound, but this chorus is catchy as all hell, and it really, to me, has a strong message. Once again, the songwriting, the song structure, they did a really, really, really good job. Like I said, this is one of my favorite songs on the record, absolutely hands down one of my favorite. And Winston's feature, man, it just reminds me of how much I miss like old school Parkway Drive. I know they're kind of I don't really know how to describe their new sound. They're doing their own thing, man, and people seem to love it, man. But you know, I long for those old school days of Horizons and killing with a smile. But it's not to say that, you know, what they do now is trash. It's just not my cup of tea right now. But this part that he's featured in right before, a nice little like I would say probably like a little more no, I wouldn't say slammy. I'd probably say a little bit more slow chuggerific breakdown here. And it just makes me just miss those old school days of a mosh call right before a breakdown. So this one, I really, really liked it a lot. And once again, the catchy chorus, man, you will always get me. You want to know how to impress me? Hit me with some heavy shit and then give me a really, really fucking catchy chorus and I will eat out of your hands every time. All right, so the next song is Flight Without Feathers, man. And once again, this is another slow, but the lyrics, you know, they seem to point out the unfairness and injustice in the world, but it does it in a very unique style. I think it's an interesting sound they went for this song because of how strong the message is in the song. And once again, I feel like the sound of it just doesn't fit in place with everything else in this record. But once again, I'm viewing it from the perspective of maybe they're just trying to break up, you know, the sound. So you're not just getting, you know, whatever chuggy riff or whatever the case is, which there's not a lot of chugging on this record. You know what I'm saying? It's very much has some, you know, some alt rock sounds, some pop rock sounds, and a few other genres in here. And it glances once in a while and dances into a little bit of metalcore, you know, which, you know, I'm here for. But like I said, just a record that is well done, but for me just doesn't fit in the context of the entire record itself. So So the next song is called Little Wonder Man, and it features Mike Kerr of the band Royal Blood. Now, as I understand, this is like a British rock band. I do not know anything about them. I think his feature wasn't too bad. I thought it was pretty nice and well drawn out to see. As from what I'm understanding, is they're more of like a pop rock kind of band. So it's kind of cool to see them bringing somebody who necessarily doesn't fit what they do into their songs. And also, once again, I'm going to touch on the lyrics here. Talks about giving the truth even in the face of that. We choose to follow even though it's completely wrong. Once again, more powerful messaging from these guys where they're telling you, man, you know, yes, we all are seeing the injustice, but the problem is do we have the ability to recognize that it's wrong, and do we have the courage to stand up for it, or are we just going to be like, well, this is not my ship, so I'm not sailing on it, or this is not my fight, so I'm not fighting on it. You know what I'm saying? And man, that has a lot of connotations to everything we've been seeing, you know, over the last few years, and everything we've been seeing, you know, from 2020 to even now into 2021, man. So once again, super powerful, really, really fucking cool song. And just knocking it out of the park on the lyrics, man. So the next song is another single they released, which was the first single, which was Animals, which, to be perfectly honest with you, you know, a lot of people seem to be not there for it or not that interested in it. I actually really, really enjoyed this song from the beginning, man. It has a little bit of nu metal vibes, which, you know, I grew up in the, you know, late 90s, early 2000s, man, and nu metal was all the rage, you know. But I also like some of what they do here, man. The layers in the chorus that were added vocally, man, is some really, really good work. It's very simplistic. I'm sure they threw like an effect off of, you know, Sam's voice or whatever in the background, and it just gave it this epicness. And that chorus, once again, man, these choruses they write, are absolutely stunning, beautiful, pretty, and just really give you something to want to sing along. And like I said, this has an interesting collaboration of different styles. Like I said, a little bit of nu metal, a little electro pop, you get a little bit of metalcore, you get a little bit of everything. And it's almost like, I think in terms of a lot of what they did on this record, this is probably one of the more put together songs from that aspect, that it has so many different elements of it, of every part of every song, you know? So I really enjoyed this song, and I have enjoyed this song from the beginning. So the next song, once again, another title I'm probably going to butcher, but I'm going to try it. Libertine or Libertint. I'm going to go one of those two. Another great line that I really, really enjoyed. The line, "We are the rust worshipping the rain." Now, rust is a chemical reaction, and it is further enhanced by more water. So basically, it's saying we're worshiping what's bad for us, what's going to continue to decay us over time, man. So once again, it is a heavier song, lyrically, sound-wise, and I enjoyed this song a lot, man, especially because that line just is so loaded, and I'm sure they could have, you know, had multiple reasons for that line. But like I said, me just hearing it, I'm thinking, you know, rust, chemical reaction, and we're a slave to things that we know we shouldn't be a slave to, in the sense of we're driven towards things that are bad for us, man. And once again, you know, Architects showing their ability to convey a message to you. So I like I said, I really, really enjoyed this song just as much as Imperience. Now, the next song is Goliath, and this also features another artist I'm not too familiar with, Billy Cairo's Simon Neil. Never really heard those guys. I think they're an indie band. I didn't think it was a bad feature. There was nothing. I think all the features they had on this record were interesting and different. They weren't bad. Obviously, I'm a little bit more partial to Winston McCall because I know him as an artist. Not really know him, but yeah, I know him. And I think this is once again, it's another good mix of everything that has been featured on this album. They kind of threw it together and put it together seamlessly as a very solid thought, a very solid piece put together, man. So this is really another display on how they're definitely putting things together, man. It's like going to a good buffet with a little bit of everything that you like, you know, a little bit of metalcore, a little electro pop, a little bit of, you know, alt rock, new metal, so on and so forth, man. So I think it's a solid song for real. So the next song is called Demigod, and once again, this is one of those songs I feel it doesn't really have a place on this album, man. I think it's a different sound, and once again, I'm gonna go with the fact that they're just looking for something to kind of break up so much of the seriousness and maybe the sound of it, but it still feels like there's an EP trapped inside of this record. And it's not a good thing, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, you know, but I could definitely see this as like a companion piece to this record. And also at the same time, while I'm saying that, you can kind of really see that they're testing this sound out. They're really testing it, and wouldn't be surprised if they have more songs like this, if they have more songs, like Flight Without Feathers, to kind of show you some of their transition. I think back to the Sepultura album of Bring Me the Horizon, and as you notice, they did a lot of different things that were kind of preparing you to see the new direction that they were headed into. And I feel like this is the same thing the Architects is kind of like, they threw in a couple songs to kind of show you this is the direction we're heading in, and you guys should really start to get used to it, get used to the sound. But like I said, when it compares to the context of the entire album, I don't think it fits there. It's kind of weird, you know? But once again, not a bad song. None of these songs are bad to me. It's just where they fit, how they were put together and arranged in this album is where my issue is. So the next song is Meteor, which is another song that they released. I wasn't too much of a fan of it. It wasn't bad. Definitely a poppier song. It's simple in its structure, but the lyrics have some really good impact. And while the lyrics fit the album, once again, it's another song that just sounds like it doesn't belong here. And I don't know, man. Like I said, the lyric content to the song fits everything else you've listened to on this record, but for some reason, for me, it just, the sound, it's just like I said, you're listening to two different, an album and an EP, man. I'm gonna keep saying that, man. It seems like some stuff they would have tried out on their own, and it's kind of, I don't know, just a little crazy, a little jarring to me, but not in the sense of, oh, they should have never fucking done that. It's just, I don't know, man. I think they should have kept certain parts of this record the way that it was, and maybe out of 15 songs, you could have kept 11 and then done, you know, a 4-song EP, but that's just my personal opinion. And I'm sure plenty of people are like, you're crazy. This record's perfect the way that it is. And I'm sure that's how you enjoy it. And there's nothing wrong with how we enjoy it. You know, we're going to talk about the last song real quick. And then I'm going to kind of get into something I want to talk about, as it pertains to me doing reviews. So the last song is called Dying is Absolutely Safe, and this is an absolutely perfect way to end the record. It has very much, it calls back to lyrics throughout the entire album. It also fits with the opening, so it's like the opening started off short and sweet. This one is a little bit longer, but it has that same feel. It has that same closing end, and it really, to me, signifies this record's over, but we're still leaving you with something. And it's a really, really good outro song, if you will. And I don't know if they meant to do it that way, but if that's what they meant to do, they did a really, really awesome job. And like I said, it calls back to particular lyrics in the album and stuff like that, and some stuff that I feel like is really, really good. So that was the 15 songs. Before I get started with my overview and kind of give you my opinions and thoughts, I kind of want to tell you my thoughts on me personally reviewing an album. First thing is I'm not in no way trying to knock the artist. I'm comparing, you know, what they've recently put out to what I personally like. What you like may be different from what I like, and that's okay. And we can meet in the middle and we can have a conversation about it. And that's the awesome part about music. Much like a lot of other things, art, literature, things are left open to interpretation of personal feelings and what you personally like. And in no way am I trying to knock the artist and tell the artist they should never do this or never do that, because who am I but someone who enjoys music? I'm not someone with any type of power. I just love talking about music. I love checking out new records. And this was one of those records that I was really definitely looking forward to listening to. And I'm glad I got the chance to sit down and kind of listen to it, as well as getting a chance to kind of sit there and talk about it. You know, this is, like I said, this is a really good album, man. And there's a lot of things I enjoyed about it, and there's a lot of things I don't. But like I said, this isn't me trying to say this artist should do this or that, man. These guys are going to do whatever they want to do, and that's the beautiful thing about being a creative person in a space where you can do so many different things. You know, we're starting to see this trend of bands who were super heavy when they first started, now kind of changing into a little bit more of what the new alternative rock music, even though for some reason I listen to an alternative rock station lately, and bands like Imagine Dragons and 21 Pilots are considered alternative, which is completely weird to me. But once again, not trying to knock anybody, man. You enjoy what you enjoy, you like what you like, and a famous saying from a YouTuber I enjoy: like what you like and don't be a dick about it. And like I said, I'm not trying to knock it on this perspective of I have some type of elitist music position. I'm doing it based off of how I enjoy music, things I like about music, and things I enjoy to hear or see a band do. Now, with that being said, I'm going to give you kind of an overview of what my opinion of this entire record, which I'm sure you've heard throughout the entire show. But once again, well, I feel like a lot of people's opinions about this record was it was going to sound a lot like their singles, Animals, Black Lungs, Dead Butterflies, and Meteor. I still really enjoyed this album, and I will say I like the different sounds that came through this record. But I also feel like there definitely is an album, or an EP rather, trapped inside of this album, man. I feel like there's 4 songs that they really could have just put on an EP. Dead Butterflies, Meteor, Flight Without Feathers, and Demigod could have all been their own EP. That's just my personal opinion. That's just how I view the way this record was structured. And even though, with that being said, man, you have to take into account that Architects is really reaching their potential as songwriters and putting strong song structures together, man. There is some excellent songwriting here, man, whether it's musically or it's lyrically. Especially me personally, lyrically, there's a lot of so much good about this album. But once again, like I said, man, I feel like there's a few songs that we could have done on a separate record, but it is what it is, man. Like I said, man, I still enjoyed this album. This isn't the worst thing I've ever heard. It definitely is not. It's I'm not going to say it's going to be, a couple of songs will probably be in my rotation a little bit, but I'm not going to say this is the album I'm going to listen to front to back to front. But this still is a solid record, and I think everyone should listen to it, man, and make your own opinions about this album, make your own opinions about this band, man. I'm not going to sit here and knock these guys, man, because these guys are doing stuff that I truly wish I could do myself, have a voice, have a message, and do it how you feel you want to do it, man. And that's truly the beautiful thing about music, man. But anyways, guys, that is the end of it for me, man. I truly greatly appreciate you guys listening to this show today, man. And check this record out, man. Let me know how you feel about this record, man. And also at the same time, man, let me know some records you think I should be checking out and giving a review to, man. I will do just about anybody's review, whether it's a local artist or otherwise. I also will be extremely respectful, because the other thing too here is once again, this show is not about being elitist or telling people, oh, well, because I don't like this, you shouldn't do your own music. I want to look at this from the perspective of other people who might enjoy this, and put it against what I enjoy taste wise. You know what I'm saying? Not everything I enjoy is something you're going to enjoy, or vice versa, man. And once again, that's the beauty of everything, man. There's a flavor for everyone. There you go. Boom. Maybe that's my catchphrase. There's a flavor for everyone. And like I said, that being said, man, thank you guys for listening to today's show, man. Let me know what you think. We'll see you guys when I see you guys. Thanks.